come up.
All right, are we all set to go, Chad? Yep. All right, we are the Garage Poets.
Thank you. We're the Garage Poets. As Anna said, we have a chat book. It's $5.
This piece is a short one. It is a prayer to Eris, and it is titled Bricks. Blessed is the apple in flight. Blessed is the rock that calls down machine gun fire. Blessed is the raised fist, the bullhorn, the stencil, and the paint. Blessed, oh blessed is the man ablaze. What possible love could be greater than the love for the throwers of bricks, the ones who shatter glass and empires, those who tilt at windmills and death? So blessed, blessed are the bricks.
My cat says voting is a sucker's game. I bought him a collar on Etsy with the words, "I voted," embroidered on it, but I haven't made him wear it. As I hold it awkwardly close to his face, whispering about possibilities, he looks at me like I'm wasting my breath, not having believed in anything since being catfished by Taylor Swift. Every night for nearly a year, the pop star mimicked our neighbor's cat's ritual until T. Swift's love dance was revealed to be a nefarious ruse concocted to win a bet she made with Ariana Grande. It's been zero fucks and Sex Pistols ever since, coming ass to mouth with the fact that rich people don't give a shit about any cat's feelings. My cat's name is Supervoter. He's vowed to never again be victimized by the niche pastimes of celebrities, no matter how catchy their songs are.
You there, with your internet connection, with your good health and dental insurance. Don't you know other people don't have access to those? Get rid of them. You can't help the underprivileged until you abandon everything the world has given you. Get miserable. You there, with your disposable income, with your Pokemon Go and your comic books, don't you know people are suffering out there? Stop having fun this instant. You can't address the ills in this world until you are as unhappy as the saddest human alive. Get miserable. You there, with your mediocre job, with your heart and lungs intact, don't you know the cops are killing people? Stop getting by. You can't fight systemic oppression and injustice until you abandon all of your life support systems. Get miserable. You there, with your jewelry, with your plate full of fresh vegetables, don't know kids are starving in Africa? Stop eating. You can't call yourself an ally until you're homeless and starving on the streets. Get miserable.
I packed a bowl because the J-O-B is F-U-C-T. I took hits from the bong because the government. I've taken joint rides with my boss, and I've taken joint rides because of my boss. I stuck a piece of hash to the end of a safety pin because someone spread eggshells across the floor. I wake and bake with concentrates, cause morning glories are useless in the afternoon. I haven't tried my hand at cultivation, cause I've been bald since my 20s. I deleted the app connected to my Bluetooth-enabled vape pen, so the feds can't track my habits. I bought a smell-proof pouch, cause the NSA got a hold of this poem before I wrote it. I'll take 2 puffs from the peace pipe, cause I'm both an Autobot and a Decepticon. I'll roll a blunt, cause I've worked hard to be good at what I do. Then pass to the left, cause I've been hopping fences for too long to not already have hit the grass. I'll keep killing brain cells, cause one of these days I'm gonna catch the one I've been hunting.
How nice it would be to have just one thing to fight. Can you imagine it? Just one battlefront to worry about, everything else settled and safe and sane and functional. Time to step back and return, refreshed, continue chipping away at a single issue that needs fixing, and the belief that when the fight is done, there will be a genuine peace. But no. We have Nazis in the streets and COVID in the air and liars and thieves from the corner office to the Oval Office. We have genocide in detention centers and apocalypse skies over the West Coast. A quarter of the country on fire and 5 tropical storms in the works. Black blood on the pavement and no justice, no speech, no peace. Scientists being silenced and rents being raised. Corporate landlord takeovers and people out of work in danger of homelessness. Starvation wages and the nesting yacht rich. Crumbling bridges and no plan for power plants, still burning our future for our phones. Mosques and synagogues under attack, and stand up, fight back. Gay Wrath Month and still we say trans rights. Pay teachers more, police unions crying like bullies in the principal's office. And that's not even all, because the Arctic keeps popping methane out of the permafrost like a bad case of acne. There's a whole extinction event with our names on it, and the aquifers being drained by Nestle, and the temperature keeps getting hotter. And remember when we were worried that the kids would be too scared to speak up, but they're out there yelling anyway. And the feds are black-bagging protesters and gassing statues, and the anarchists are trying to juggle feeding people with drying aggro, and the opportunists are writing Antifa romance, and nothing is stable. Stop thinking. Sanity is always the first casualty of war. And if you don't think this is a war, you are not going to survive the first skirmish. We are all the walking wounded. We are all putting on our oxygen masks. We are all putting one foot in front of the other. We are no good to the resistance dead. Start breathing. Feel the air in your lungs and the beating of your heart. Feel the strength of your rage and the depths of your sorrow. Feel the power of your voice, of your art, of your fists, of your fear. Learn to sublimate everything you will need, all of it. The weight of history is at your back, your ancestors behind you, your descendants ahead, by blood or by culture, by origin or by choice. Your family stretches through the ages, calling for you, cheering you on. You are not alone in this.
I'm not campaigning to be president, but I'm building my library. I'm not the founder of a social network, but I'm wearing my hoodie. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but I talk sitcom philosophies. I'm not a spy, but I'm chain smoking. I didn't go to flight school, but I'm a stoner. I didn't find God, but I married my best friend. I'm not a cult leader, but my children love me. I didn't consider myself an alcoholic, but I've over-celebrated every minor holiday. I didn't create change, but I'm listening to podcasts. I'm not the heavyweight world champion, but I beat myself up. I didn't make the All-American team, but I know how to play the game. I'd make a terrible waiter, but I'll bring what you ask for.
I got pepper sprayed, but I'm fine. They trapped me and beat me with their bikes, but I'm fine. I got hit in the leg with a rubber bullet, but I'm fine. My eye ruptured when they fired a tear gas canister at my head, and I'm probably gonna lose it after surgery tomorrow, but I'm fine. I'm fine. But I'm fine. But I'm fine. We keep saying it because we don't want you to worry, don't want to take up too much space, because we are breathing and we can't stop thinking about the ones who aren't. But I'm fine. But I'm fine. But I'm fine. And how much more would have to happen? How much do we need beaten out of us? How many tears will we need to shed before we have no choice but to let out the banshee wail in our hearts? They are shooting at us. They are arresting us. They are knocking us to the ground. They are running cars through us. They are laughing as they fire. But I'm fine. But I'm fine. But I'm fine. I'm not.
When my dad tells me my uncle is skipping the family reunion so he can travel to a Trump rally in Pennsylvania, I think about my mom uploading DNA samples and official records into the internet database to prove we descended from John Adams, and it feels like we have been avoiding our family obligations. Not like we should have gone to more summer barbecues, but like we left work unfinished somewhere along the line. Now that our courts give more protection to preying on field after high school football games than they give to choice in women's health decisions, and our Congress members care more about getting likes from QAnon conspiracy theorists than they do about protecting school children from mass shooters, the significance of July 4th coming and going while we watch the January 6th hearings pulls its way through my intestines like I'm crammed shoulder to shoulder in the trunk of my family tree on a road trip to nowhere with every man I've ever been related to poorly attempting to hold in a fart laced with the odor of personal responsibility. I'm reminded of when Trump told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by, and the role the choices my ancestors played in getting us here in the first place. Then I try to picture what would it be like to live in a world where doves and wolves bathe each other in truth. When my wife ran for city council, everyone wanted to know, who's gonna take care of the kids?
Progressive makes it sound like things will always get better. Like there's nowhere to go but forward. Like forward is forever better, never in any danger of backsliding. Progressive makes it sound like we're winning, like we were always destined to win, like the ones who oppose us are stuck in the mud. I was at coffee hour one morning talking about how I was going to have to go yell at Nazis again, and someone asked, don't they have better things to do? Like this was a waste of time for them. Like what they were doing as a lark? Like they needed a job or a hobby? I had to tell them that these people are not killing time and not in want of something to do. These people believe, not necessarily in the things they say or the people they vote for. They believe as strongly as we do that their cause is just, that victory is theirs for the taking, that history has its eyes on them, that this is a war and they have chosen a side. I know this because I too am a believer, and this tiny sliver, this shared fraction of a credo is the only common ground we share. I believe that the future is in danger, and the future is worth fighting for. And so do the people on the other side of the barricades. It's strange to have to explain this to people who appear to be engaged, to remind them over and over that their enemies exist and need confronting. And we lose over and over, shocked and dismayed when we did not fight and did not win.
When QAnon's local representative told me Edward Snowden's oligarch handlers revived the birds aren't real conspiracy as a way to mock the bald eagle, I replied I half expected news of a noticeable uptick in bird murders would arrive with my morning cereal. Even though I haven't eaten a bowl since the 3rd grade when I puked back into my Wheaties. Since the Capitol riots, it's easier to see connections in the glare of the winter sun that only exist after you've seen them. But as the ground warms around QAnon's followers, they are addicts without an organization to acclimate them. A birdbath on the moon, armed to the teeth with explosives.
You know, if things were to collapse, really collapse, that post-apocalyptic shit, no supply chain shit, no emergency services, no law shit, you want to invest in a bicycle and some tire patch kits. If things go all the way around the bend, you're going to want to have a friend that can sow seeds as well as clothes. You're going to want a weaver and a baker with a solid sourdough starter, someone with a sweet voice for singing and a million stories to tell. If the world goes straight to hell and you don't know how to make a friend out of a foe, I just feel sorry for you, bro. Cause shit gets real old around the fire, eating expired cans of beans while your clothes rot off your back, seeing threats in every shadow, thinking everyone for miles wants to fight for what you cling to, and bags of gas lose all their bang before you need them.
Putting the word domestic in front of terrorist makes it sound like they are the Budweiser of mass shooters. Like even if they're wrong, at least they're trying. I wish they were domestic like clean under the fridge. At least that would be useful. What if we said domesticated? Like take the Proud Boys to the dog park. Like we taught them how to do it. Or does domesticated sound too much like radicalized? Like pledging allegiance?
This letter is to inform you that the revolution is not in need of any martyrs at this time. We are all set on names for hashtags, on candlelit vigils, on impassioned pleas from mourning relatives. The bloodshed on the streets already is quite enough for a lifetime of fighting. Thank you. We apologize for the inconvenience. Those among you who are feeling too sharply the weight of the world, who are carrying your own personal fights and disappointments, who have been quietly looking for a way to unburden yourself without abandoning your post, know that you are heard. Unfortunately, a death on the front line is no longer a valuable contribution to the cause. You will need to find your peace other ways. There is simply no need for another man on fire, another woman shot down in her prime, another body found under suspicious circumstances. There are no openings for dead heroes at this time. We are, in fact, overstaffed in that regard. You need to get your shit together. We need you fit for the fight. We need your boots on the ground and your voice on the megaphone. We need your labor, your time, your experience. Take a break if you have to. Seek out comfort where you can find it and comfort others as you are able. We need all of you alive. Again, the revolution is not in need of martyrs at this time. Thank you.
Thanks. We've been the Garage Poets. I think we got one more each, or how many more do you got? One more. Does that sound good, Chad? We got enough time for one more each? The first brick refuses to buy a microwave. He says because of the radiation, but I know he owns a toaster oven factory. The second brick became internet famous for getting smashed over the head with a vanilla milkshake. He tried to sell me a bottle of ivermectin autographed by Joe Rogan, but I don't have anything in common with Candace Owens. The fourth brick has a family history of being the fourth brick. Her grandfather was originally intended for the Berlin Wall, but was accidentally redirected to a blood bank in Detroit. Brick 8 sits on the toilet retweeting Elon Musk. He claims to be advocating for free speech and decentralized banking, but I think he just likes smelling his own shit. The 16th brick went on a bus chartered to D.C., but was left behind in Atlanta when he went out for a cigarette. I'm still trying to figure out how he wound up being thrown at a cop in Boston. Brick 32 is a paid informant. He took online swimming classes when the pandemic hit. He almost drowned because his connection sucked. I told him he needed to adapt his tinfoil hat to be compatible with this 5G signal. Brick 64 unwittingly befriended an alt-right troll while volunteering at a soup kitchen. I've only ever heard them talk about addiction. Brick 128 thinks he's doing it for different reasons than his separatist friends. I told him that's mental masturbation. Brick 256 wants to start a riot so widespread we have no choice but to start over just so he can say he owned the libs. He disappeared before I could respond. Brick 512 tried to overthrow the government, but nobody seemed to care or notice. Their numbers have been doubling this whole time we've been debating how much of a threat they really are.
Because we started our open mic during the pandemic, we had a tradition of making sure that the last poem of the evening, no matter what, was something uplifting, especially because people had a lot of heavy stuff to get off them too. So in that spirit, this piece is called Keep Breathing. If it feels like people want a lot from you right now, they do. And if it feels like people are being short and snippy, they are. And if it seems like your body is revolting against you, it is. It is. We are all feeling it. It has been a year and then some, and we are not cut out for this shit. We have all been overclocked for too long, all been in crisis mode too long, all trying to do right by everyone for so long, and there is just not enough to go around like butter scraped over too much bread. We are wearing thin, we are snapping at each other, we are failing to live up to our unrealistic expectations of ourselves. We are failing to show grace for the failures of others. It's real, it's real, it's really happening. You are not making things up. You are not too sensitive. You are not fabricating drama. We are living in interesting times, and it's just hard to get through. If it feels like your best isn't enough, it isn't. None of us have enough to get through this. All of us are human in the face of overwhelming need and grief and stress, and learning to live with not being enough for the task at hand is hard in good times. Accepting that we will stumble and fall short and pivot and leave bruises in our wake and never get there because there's no there to get through. And it is so human to want to curl up and disengage and get your hackles up and drive folks away and beat yourself up and scream and cry and oh, you are not alone in the troubles right now. It has been the kind of year they tell stories about, the kind of year that lingers for generations, and you are still worthy of love and support and kindness and comfort, even with all your missteps and iniquities and your scars and the ghosts in your heart. You belong here. You were born for this. It is so much to bear, and you will bear it imperfectly, impatiently, importantly, in every glorious little detail of who you are and how you survive this. I am rooting for you. Keep breathing.